Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not supposed to say cunt very early.
YouTube. Absolutely not. Not that the
All right.
cunt should not be the
Well, I
first
won't.
word, John, on this.
All right. No, it's
right.
fine. I'm a pro.
Fuck is always better than cunt anyway, so that should be the first word.
Anyone else want a cunt before we go?
Oh, I don't want one now.
Why would I say the word cunt for?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! You know that's going to be rude.
You've just broken
that's going to be a
YouTube,
sound
Suky.
bite forever.
Sucky's just broken YouTube, everyone. Right.
Now he's going to get his cock out, hasn't he?
Right. He's full. He's rebellious tonight. I can tell. It's going to be good. Right. Okay.
I've gone all red, man.
That was class. Do you want a quick cut before we get on? Chris?
No, I'm all right. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
That one earlier.
Just checking. Just checking. See, he's a bright boy, not dragged up like you, Suky. Right. Okay. Are we good? We're good. Right. Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Doctor Who and Music podcast, Progtor Who. Kissed at birth by Moroccan sunrise and blessed with the gift of being a natural trouser press, I'm your host, Bob, and joining me upon the Good Ship podcast. I'll start that again. I wasn't quite ready.
What trouser press thing? That was a little bit weird.
I wonder where that was going.
I think you freaked me out a bit, that, John. I'm not going to lie. Okay, we got good. Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Doctor Who and Music podcast, Progtor Who. Kissed at birth by Moroccan sunrise and blessed with the gift of being a natural trouser press, I'm your host, Bob, and joining me upon this Good Ship podcast are my ho-hosts, Faster, harder, ooh, smoother is the well-known catchphrase of this local sex symbol and semi-amateur lawn bowling legend. He was the vice chairman of the We Demand Very Flat Earth Society Lawn Bowls Club in the Lower Shire of Salford. That was until he got too big for his ball bag and let the balls go to his big throbbing head, and he was fired for using the incorrect size blade guard when mowing the edgings on the club's precious and award-winning greens. 3 mil, you mad bastard. He'll always risk it for a value biscuit. It's Craig!
I have no idea where you're going with that.
Hi, Craig.
I kept looking at Cliff thinking, is it Cliff?
I thought.
Somebody's been waking up very early with their child and just decided to get very creative, haven't they?
There's nothing else to do, John.
I have to re-listen to that and edit it. God help the three of you following me if that's what I get.
Confirmed Aryan and occasional Nazi, J.K. Rowling based her main wizard character in the Harry Potter videos on him.
What?
Because he's dumb. He's stroked a boo and he crept through a door. Dumbledore, kind of think there. Probably when he was exiting post haste after being on the twok in either a residential or commercial property, whose proprietors thought themselves thrifty by saving money with a low investment option on a security plan due to financial restrictions. You have to have some sympathy. COVID has hit the business purse hard. It's the Lightfinger Wolverhampton Wizard. It's Suky!
Hey!
Thank you for that, Bob. That was absolutely crap.
Good review. Easy come, easy go was his tribute to the tragic death of extreme sports enthusiast Michael Hutchence. As a skilled craftsman and master of the wood whittle, he was made honorary marketing director for the Get Hung on Woodcraft Craftwork Experience theme park located in Vatican City. They make their own occasional tables and their own laws. He does what he wants. It's John.
Yeah.
I love the way
if I'm not enthusiastic about it, hopefully a little part of Bob just dies inside.
No, it's still fully alive. We're still fully alive, good to go. Okay. You big daft fucking hairy cocksucker.
It's me!
3 out of 5 stars. Not my words, but the review left on TripAdvisor by his mum in reference to his inaugural podcast on the Progtor Who podcast. On the Progtor Who podcast. However, as the customer services assistant team leader and complaints handler for the podcast, I've addressed this review by using my main and only complaint handling technique. I told his mum to fuck off. It's clear.
Yes.
On this podcast, we will be reviewing.
You've never told her to fuck off, Bob. You've always said the opposite.
Only when she's told me to. On this podcast, we'll be reviewing the Tom Baker story, Revenge of the Cybermen, giving our marks out, whatever, reading out your feedback, finding out what we'll be reviewing next time, and playing some random songs along the way. So let's make titties tingle and get into this. What do you think, Tom?
Let's make what tingle?
Titties tingle.
Titties.
Oh my good grief!
Oh,
This is
Get me scared
That's
off
like-
now.
15 minutes of the podcast finished. We can go on now, can we?
I'll just say I like revenge, should I? And that was it.
I've had me say now. I'll just wind me.
Oh, looking very cool there, Bob. I have to say, I'm envious that my braces are upstairs. I'm most excited by that.
Oh, I can't go back to a belt now, Craig. Can't go back to a
Oh
belt.
no, belts are crap when you've had braces on.
Oh, right. So,
And if you pull them nice and tight, it really gives you a nice sensation around your front and back.
oh, it is. Oh no, you definitely
Oh.
feel like they're not going to fall out anywhere.
They're definitely tape friendly, aren't they?
Just making sure I've got the dice for the song choice. In fact, I'll bring up the song choices. On my iPad, I'll do that. Right. So, first thoughts, okay?
Yeah.
And after all that, just a reminder that you're listening to the Progtor Who podcast, and we are reviewing Revenge of the Cybermen, Tom Baker adventure. Ooh. Now, I don't really know what anyone thinks. I know what I think. So let's just get some first thoughts before we kick on with this podcast proper. I'm going to come to you first, Cliff.
Me! Brilliant.
You.
Well, when this one came up on the randomizer, I thought, oh, I've seen this a few times. And I couldn't understand why I'd seen it a few times until I looked into the history. And it was like the first commercially successful one, which BBC released, wasn't it? So that's probably why I had it on video. And it was just kept being played and played. And I had to keep hold of that video for ages. So it's one which I've always enjoyed, but purely for the fact I've seen it tons of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so is that a positive, Cliff? I can't quite.
It's a positive. It's a positive. Not overly exuberant, not like all singing and dancing, but yeah, I do like this one.
Do like it. Cool. Suky.
Yes, like Cliff, I've got this on VHS, still in the other room there, and
You've still got the VHS.
Yeah, so I've got all my VHSs.
That'd be worth some
Really?
money. That.
Now there,
No.
you have a look on eBay and stuff. They're about, can you take them off my hands for free? That sort of stuff. Right, so they're not worth anything. So I'd just keep them on my shelf rather than make them landfill somewhere. But yeah, so I've enjoyed this ever since the early 80s or mid 80s when it was first released on VHS, and it's just a great story. It's a bit confusing as to what the motives are certain people and races within the whole story, but other than that, it is really good. Tom Baker's at the top of his form, and I do like the shenanigans that are going on the planet. So it's fairly positive with a few reservations.
Oh, well, that's good. It's a bit tepid so far, John.
It's
You're all right there, Suki. Did you have a stroke there all of a sudden?
no, it's not tepid. It's not tepid.
Yeah. Can you smell burnt toast, Suky? Are you all right?
I do.
Can you smell burnt toast? John, what's your first thoughts on this here?
Yeah, never seen it before, and I'm always going to be positive when there's a Sarah Jane in there, and Tom Baker was unequivocally doctorish. I saw lots of parallels to all the stuff that he does a lot of the time, and I recognised the set, which was weird, and all kind of good. The Cybermen were the weakest part of it for me.
Yeah,
I didn't find them particularly threatening because they looked like they're covered in foam. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good old story. I love the caves.
Oh, right. Good cave dweller. Craig.
I always feel like I should really love this story because it gets such great kind of writing and press, but I'm a bit like everyone else in the sense that I'm a bit tepid on it in many ways. I love it. Well, no, I won't say that word. I really like it, but I do have reservations. It's never... When I first watched it, I was disappointed, and I've always held that response to it. But every time I watch it, I enjoy it more than I think I'm going to. So it's a good story. It's got some great bits, but some areas that I always think really let it down, some of which have already been touched on, some I'll come back to later when we go in depth. But yeah, it's a good story. Definitely better than last week.
Well, I'm going to up you lot. I mean, this, with my heart, this is just, I just adore it. at 1983, this came out on video, and it was 40, at the equivalent of it was £40.
1983, did it really? Crikey.
£40 it came out, so it's over £100 for a video in today's money, roughly. And it was Granada. Do you remember Granada, the video shop?
Yeah.
You could rent a video player for, because there were bloody dear. Bloody dear. And TVs and all that. And they had it. And every time my dad took me to Granada on a Saturday to rent a video, I'd just get this. So the amount of times I got him to rent it from me, because it were like £2 a rental or whatever, I might as well have bought this 4 times over. And then me and my cousin Stephen, this was a big thing at the time. Do you remember copying videos over? So you remember this,
yes.
you know. Sucky, you know about this. So I used to take my video player to my cousins, and we'd copy videos over, basically. This is one of the ones we copied. I mean, he used to tape stuff off telly as well, Doctor Who, Hitchhikers, that kind of thing, and I'd get them all on these videos off him. So I've definitely, without a doubt, seen this the most out of any Doctor Who adventure ever. It was the first one, because the ones I've watched the most is Revenge of the Cybermen, this one obviously, and Seeds of Death and Death of the Daleks, the first 3 that came out on video. I remember Seeds of Death. My mum, because it's black and white, W.H. Smith. My mum saying, "What do you want?" I want that. I want that one. She was like, "It's black and white. It's quite expensive." I was like, "No, I want that one. It's my money." Loved it. Love them. So with my heart, absolutely just adore this. It takes me back. With my head, I'm probably more tepid like you guys. Anyway, I've got a little treat for us. I'm going to put on a song, so we're going to do the D20 random roll. But after that, I'm going to take the TARDIS, going to dematerialize into Wookiee Hole Cave. So I thought it'd be a nice little treat for us all to sit in a nice cold, dank cave while we do the main review. But anyway, got the D20.
Please, can we not go near the witch?
Oh no, that was a good tale, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to roll this D20 for the song. 5. Oh, and it's Sucky with Judas Priest epitaph. Now you did not again.
Do not question my song choices, please, Bob. I picked them songs. Don't go around questioning them.
Thanks, Mark.
No, nothing to do with Mark. Nothing to do with Mark.
Thanks, internet.
I did explain it last time.
You did explain.
So this is Judas Priest with epitaph.
Rock and roll.
Right to that.
Rock and roll. If anybody's ever said rock and roll and sounded less rock and roll than you.
Oh, no. Look at that beard. How can he not be rock and roll?
That's
ZZ
not
Top, man. ZZ Top.
ZZ Top. He just his
ZZ
electric
no.
guitar in his hand. Some girls dressed in black behind him, and it could almost be Robert Palmer-esque. Apart from the beard.
Palmer-esque, Christ. What's happened to the world? Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Have you got your fat file, Craig?
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Okay.
Do you want me to go into all the stuff about the caves and all the other things, or should we just do that as we go along?
Just whatever you want. Whatever you
Do
want.
whatever
Fat
you
file
want.
is, whatever. Do what you want, but do what you want. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Well, here we are, lads. Wookiee Hole Cave. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful, damp, wet cave that I brought
Lots
you to.
of dripping. There's lots of dripping, Bob.
Oh, there
Sounds
is
like-
lots of dripping.
So a bit
Wind as
similar
well.
to my mum's house.
I know. Beef dripping, fan dripping.
Like where I was brought up as a
fanny
kid.
dripping. I went fanny dripping. Why did I go there? Oh my god.
I'm feeling a bit claustrophobic actually in here, and I'm not sure about this.
It's all these big, hey up, who's this little tour guide? Hello there. That's right. It's always about health and safety, yeah? Right, Craig, fact me like you've never done before.
Oh, I have got so many facts on this. I'm almost desperate not to give it all away in one go, but I'll start off with the usual boring crap. So, Revenge of the Cybermen is the 5th and final series in the 12th season, broadcast between the 19th of April to 10th of May 75, which is why I was so shocked it's released in 83. I was still just a kid. Fantastic to see the Cybermen back. They'd not been in it since the invasion in 1968, and they didn't come back for another 7 years for Earthshock in 1982. So really, they weren't used at all by the third or only the once by the fourth Doctor. Obviously, Tom Baker, Elizabeth Sladen, Ian Marter as the regular. Directed by William Bryant, written by Jerry Davis and Robert Holmes. and produced by Phil Hinchcliffe, preceded by Genesis the Daleks, and followed by Terror the Zygons. I think what we've already mentioned, John said it before, which was nice to him say he recognised the set. I think it's the first time they've done a top and tail, isn't it, in the sense that it started on Nerva Beacon, comes back to Nerva Beacon. So we've got that nice story out coming on here as well.
It reminds me of Chris Eccleston. Well, the series one of the new series of Doctor Who, Chris Eccleston first with Satellite 5.
Yeah.
You know, sort of kind of like they've got the first episode Robot, but really it starts with Ark in Space. You know, the bookend. But it was meant to be Terror Zygons was the finishing one, you know, to bookend it with Unit, and off he went from there. But whatever, it didn't happen. So it was quite an abrupt ending, this one.
Well, yeah, he does just stop there because he just arrive back, don't they? And they kind of all disappear. That's the end of it. Because he says he gets his call, doesn't he, from Unit, and then that's the end. They go off. So actually, I'm a bit nervous of saying this in here now. We're actually in Wookiee Hole, but I don't know if you know, guys. There's a real curse about this place, and it actually really affected the production. So you might. I'm just going to say this a bit quietly. There was loads of stuff that went on basically about this bloody cave, and I'm already feeling claustrophobic, as did most of the people filming it, because someone actually died down here, a diver, and one of the cast, and I try to remember who it was, Brian, actually came across an individual down here in all his snorkeling gear, and there was apparently no one there at the time, but he did report seeing someone and reported it. So just watch out for a man who's diving around, because it isn't, you know, it could be a ghost. There's also the very fact that while they were down here, loads of people felt really quite ill and claustrophobic and quite poorly. And the cast, the production crew warned, because I think that might be it over there, actually. Those rocks look a bit witchy. Could be Cliff's mum that's come down as well. You maybe been doing it.
Does look familiar. It is her.
I can't tell from this distance, but yeah.
Hang on. I'm just going to go stand up a bit on this rock. Going to have a bird's eye view. Yeah, it's Cliff's mum. Right, so that's awesome.
I can speak a bit louder then, because the locals all talk about the witch, and the witch is like a rock formation, and you're not allowed to mess with it. Well, they did. They dressed it up when they were filming this, and literally, I think it was on that day, but I could be exaggerating there for dramatic purposes. Lots of things happened, but the big one was, of course, Elizabeth Sladen, when she goes across the Wookiee Hole in the boat goes wrong, and she has to get off, and she's got really heavy boots on, and she would basically have just sunk to her death, is what they all said. But Terry, I can't remember who Terry was now.
Stunt guy,
that's it. He jumps in and rescues her, and then he himself has to be taken to hospital. And of course, at that point, they take away all the Mickey taking of the witch, because it was wrong to do that. Other stuff in here.
Load of shite.
It's just something that they all believe.
I didn't know any minute my microphone's going to go off. You've just done that.
All I see over there are rocks and an accident that somebody had. Come on.
The other thing as well, make sure you do not pick up any arrowheads, because apparently Michael Brighton, the director, picked up arrowheads all over the place, found arrowheads all over, took some with him, and he thinks that was what caused the production so many problems. Superstitious, maybe spooky, whatever you'd like to call it.
It could have been that we're in a really fucking damp cave. That was probably it, and no daylight in that. I mean, it's good for us gingers. Like, I love it down here. What do you like it?
It's perfect for me. Perfect for me.
Perfect temperature.
And if I would have saw Sarah drop in over that water, I would have been in, picked her up, helped her out.
Yeah, I bet you would, Chef.
Yeah.
I'd be loitering on the side for Terry when he stood up to see how much he clung around his bulge.
Oh my God! You'd helped him with your dick, Chef.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come to you first. This is your first experience of this well watched by most Doctor Who fans adventure. Give us a bit of detail. Give us some of your notes or whatever you got there, my friend.
Who are you talking to, me?
Yeah, John.
All right, yeah, I missed that bit. Sorry. It's. I mean, there's loads of elements to this story that are quite interesting. There being a sort of double agent spy fellow who looked and dressed like a double agent spy fella from that era. I've got questions such as like, what the fuck's a time ring and all that shit. But as far as the story goes, I thought it was really interesting the way that they had that asteroid and they set it above the space station as well, and they linked that back to the Ark in space by intervening time.
Of course, because you've seen that, don't you?
Yeah. That was one of the first ones I saw.
You've seen most of this series, I think, haven't you, John?
I think mostly. I'm about to start on the Terror of the Zygons. I think it is. Is it?
Yeah, the next one after this.
After this, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to crack on with that because I enjoyed it. The cave stuff was great. I thought it was beautifully lit. And I thought because they used actual caves rather than bits of polystyrene, it just added that edge of realism to it. I'm not sure about the motorboat things, the canoe things. They were a bit stupid looking. I'm not 100% convinced about the aliens. And I can't remember what they're called. Are they Vogons, Voros, Vegas, Vargas?
They were going to be called the vegans. They were going to be called the Athamites or something like that, and then the vegans, and then they ended up with Vogons. So they
Vogas, Vorus. I don't know. Anyway, they had the least convincing disguises, even more so than the Cybermen. But like I've said all along, I ignore these sorts of things. I know the limitations they were under, so I'm just straight for the story. And the story was great. Elizabeth Sladen was fantastic as always. As
the second time
Ian.
you said that, John, did you?
I know. I fucking love her. And Ian was great as well. And I really liked the dynamic he had when they were down there. And I liked the dynamic between SJ and Ian, how they were kind of brotherly and sistery, just having a snipe at each other all the time. It was great.
Harry, the Doctor, and Sarah Jane, that's my favourite TARDIS team. I'd definitely say that. I love Ian Marter. I think he's brilliant. I think they're all brilliant. And I think they're all just awesome together because this is the first time they're all thrown together, isn't it? As well this season.
Why does he leave Ian? Because he kind of goes out of it after this. Was it a choice?
I can't remember.
No,
It was the production team.
Was it?
I'll tell you why. Because basically they thought they were going to cast an older Doctor instead of Tom Baker. They didn't know who they were going to cast, so they got Ian Marter in it as Harry to be the action man. Now, when Tom Baker came in, he could do all the roles and moves and fighting. There wasn't really a need for him, so that's why he left. But it did work. It really worked. It was the two of them. Were really cool, and it's a really weird one with Harry because he has this sort of old-fashioned way. His views on women, things like that. But his character's lovely. He's just a lovely character. Like he does care about the team.
I found it.
No, go on.
I was just saying, I just found it perfectly typically English the way it's constructed. And any foreign, it used to be massive in Australia and America, etc. Anyone watching this, Harry's one of those characters what it can only be placed within England, and it just brings that Englishness through it, which I thought was always missing in some of the new stuff. You never really hear like even Unit. They've changed all that now. It used to be the upper crust Unit. So that's why I liked Harry. When he went, I forgot how he went. I can't remember which one he disappeared in, but I felt that was just missing. Then he just started to put women in all the time. Then for Tom,
he gets the best line. He gets the best line of the whole thing, accusing Sarah Jane of having fetlocks like a cart horse. And I thought that was like genuinely laugh out loud funny, and I was like, that was great.
You jump to her defence there, get up and do. Don't say that about my Sarah.
No, don't you dare.
But it was.
I don't know. Actually, I've actually. Sorry, but I'm going back to great lines. I just put down here Sarah Jane episode 2 saying to Harry, well, we can't just sit here glittering, can we? Which I thought was a brilliant line, actually. I love that. It's kind of quite jealous.
If we're talking of lines, there's two that really stood out to me. One is the term glitter gun, because it just reminds me what you call your penis at a discotheque, Craig. And the other one was sonic vibrator. I don't know why it made me laugh because obviously it was a sonic screwdriver that opened the door. And you got a sonic vibrator. It made me laugh because I'm a 42-year-old man with apparently the So hi, Suky. Sorry, hello.
Well, you're going on about that sort of a innuendo type. The biggest one, of course, was in the 4th episode when they were heading for the biggest bang in the universe. Right, and I was thinking, I don't think they'd be able to put that in today's program.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to come to you, font of knowledge, Suky, while we're here, because I completely, I think I did know this, but I've maybe forgotten it, was the fact that I forgot how much Michael Wisher is in this thing. So he's Davros, awesome, in Genesis of the Daleks. He plays Magric in this. the first alien to ever cross his legs on television, I think. And he's the voice at the beginning as well of the person that's asking the Beacon about how they are and things like that. And then Kevin Stoney, he was Mavic Chan, Tobias Vaughn, and now he's in this as well. Like he plays Tyron, I think he's called. Which was amazing. And it's just full of people. Like he's got Poole. I can't remember the guy that played Poole in
David Collins.
Yeah, he's in it as well. It's just full of. I think everyone had done previous Doctor Who, because Lester, he was in the.
He was in Mind of Evil.
Mind of Evil, and then the Commander, he was Radner in Season of Death. So to be honest, that fella to me was the only person in Doctor Who. I was always in Doctor Who because he was in the Season of Death, one of the videos I owned, and the other one was in the Cybermen. So he was always in it, and he's brilliant as well. So just absolutely, I couldn't believe how big a cast they had.
I thought that the actors in it was a lot more on par to what I wanted to see than our previous Progtor Who. You know what I mean? These all of them seem to be doing really good acting all the way through it.
They're brilliant, and I think like John was saying about the Vogon prosthetics, they were bad, and I know Philip Hinchcliffe was fuming about it because he wanted like half mask so you could see the mouth and it was properly in the eyes, so it was properly, it looked a lot better. But it's such a waste having great actors like that and not having that ability.
It worked for David Collins' character. It's a bit better than it did for Kevin Stoney's character and some of the others. Right? It just didn't look as properly fixed to the face. Right, and it obscured a lot of the facial movements on some of the other characters, and it's just horrible. And then when you got the little minions as well, with the face masks are running around Wookiee-O, they were just wobbling. They were wobbling on their faces. And it does take you out of the story, but I can understand. If they're making it on a budget like that, you got to maybe just think past it. But sometimes when you're seeing some of these aliens running across the screen, and the face mask is just wobbling on them, the eyes are so far back from the eye holes on the actual mask, it just takes you out a lot.
I could look past that.
No, I can't look past it, but it's just
I mean, you've got to suspend every bit of disbelief you have when you're watching these sorts of things.
Yeah, but it just takes it away because I agree with Suki. You can't see any facial movement. I know you can't a lot of aliens, but it just because it looks like it's meant to, you can't help but stop thinking it is a mask clearly. And I find it really hard to hear what they're saying as well. But you really have to focus on what is coming out because it gets so badly distorted. Yeah. And that's my big weakness with their costume design. They look great in many ways, but just badly executed.
I found that was the issue with the Cybermen speaking as well. They sounded muffled.
Well, this is the first time that they used the actual actors within the costumes to be able to do their own voices, whereas before they'd pipe it into the studios for them. But going back to the Vogons, even though having to go about the design and stuff, I do like the fact that they had two different factions of this society, where you had the Guardians with their shorter cropped hair, bald head, and then you had the other side, the administration side, which was like with a long flowing white hair. All right, and that sort of yes, John, just like the way you knock them back like that, right? But it was great. I just do like the fact that they actually did that. I don't know if it wouldn't have been Roger Murray Leach. It would have been the costume designer to probably.
It was quite nice that they did that with the internal dispute. So you had the two elements of the Vogons, and then you had the external dispute as well coming in. So you almost had the two battles taking place, which I thought added a really nice layer to it. It just made it a bit more gritty, especially in the caves. Add an element of surprise.
I think that was kind of cool, and I did like. I know John said about Kelman's costume, the sort of Russian naval Das Boot kind of thing, but he was quite. I mean, they were all great actors in this for me, but he was kind of clever because it made sense. He was just greedy for gold. It's a simple thing that he wanted, and it was just to be greedy. Cliff, I'm going to come to you now. Have you got out to say? I presume you have because it's a podcast. And you're talking
I've got a load of stuff here. Right. Awesome. So first of all, the Kellerman, perfect to being a smarmy, horrible little, baddie, but a couple of script choices when they was writing him. There's a part, I think it was in where they would tie him up and he's being more or less ready to torture him. Tom's ready to torture him with the Cyberman controls, so he's going to get shot in the neck. Yeah. And then after that, when he releases and gives him that pendant, what he's got with the details on, he's up walking around.
Yeah.
Like, they just free him. I thought there's a couple of bad choices in the story where if he's, you know what I mean, they would have locked him up. They would have locked him up into his room or something like that. He was able to walk around afterwards.
I think it's because you initially think he's a Cyberman spy, and it transpires that he's in league with Vorus, and he's
but they didn't know that at that point. They insulate him off, and it's only when the Cybermen come walking through at the end of, I think, part 2, because they're mostly dominate part 3 and 4, don't they? Because they come walking through, and then they shoot Tom, they shoot the other guy, and he just runs through, and it just makes me think they would have tied it up. So there's a couple of little scripts where I can see why, because apparently it's gone back and forth with script changes on this one. It was quite famously, they did about 10 different ones.
It's a complete rewrite by Robert Holmes.
Writes one screenplay, thinks he knows fucking everything about it.
Yeah, I did. I'm actually on my second one now, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right, Quentin Tarantino.
Whoa. Well, John Waters, maybe.
What are you saying, okay?
Going back to what
he's having a stroke. What?
No, I'll just go back to what Clifford said. Cliff said about the security aspect of these people. The one that I noticed, which is a bit strange, they've just captured the Dr. Sarah and Harry, held them at gunpoint, and the Doctor sort of talks himself out of it. And then what happens? Just a few moments later, Lester gives his gun to Sarah. Right,
I noticed that. Yeah,
Pick somebody up and just gives the gun to Sarah. And that's how trusting. They're suddenly turned on in a few seconds.
Yes, she does have a lovely face, though, hasn't she?
There's a brilliant part on beginning of part 3.
Oh yeah, she does.
When they've got
third comment on Sarah Jane.
Sorry, Cliff, before you go on, a fourth one, those fucking camo trousers.
Tight.
Last minute costume change for her.
Yeah,
like a tiger.
She was nice. I don't know if you noticed on part 3 when they're all sat down. You've got I can't remember his name. Kellerman. No, sorry. You got him and then Tom, and then you've got the commander sat next to him. If you notice, they was doing see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
Oh, were they?
Like the camera just goes and you see him doing this. Yes. And then and it's like, oh right, that's what he's doing. But then straight away after, like you says, they wasn't tied up or anything, and he was left to walk around for the Cybermen. Yeah. And also the Cybermen, I know they brought them back because it's been so long to bring them back. But if you're gonna bring them back, why not break it as much as they could? Like show the fear. They invaded a planet with 2 people.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the cost, isn't it? They were saying that.
Yeah, but but that doesn't make sense because they had more of the Vogans than they had them.
Yeah, they were wanting the invasion costumes, but there was only 2 left because the rest had perished. Which, to be honest, aren't the best. They're remembered as being great because of that shot of St. Paul's Cathedral and walking down the stairs.
Yeah.
Which is why it looks better. But I mean, they're wearing fucking space flares. And when the cyber leader puts his hands on his hips like that,
the time warp.
Well, the voices are full of emotion as well. It's because obviously it's the actors acting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's there's something not quite right about these. But I've
they're
always said
too emotional.
They get a bad deal, the Cybermen. They always get a bad deal. It could be always brilliant.
But as Bob says, this is the first time that the actors within the costumes are making the providing the voice themselves. If you're in a booth and you're supposed to be acting robotic, you can act robotic. Whereas if you're acting and you're walking around within the costume, you're going to sort of emote as well. And so it does bring out. This is why that you see the Cybermen get more and more emotional as the stories go from into the 80s.
Which you're going to say with the 80s Cybermen, you get Banks, don't you? He does the voices.
Yeah, he does the voices, and they sound cool.
Yeah, his does sound cool. I mean, the best voice is always the Telos Cybermen, that really spooky. I always think. Anyway, I'm going to roll a D. I'm going to roll a D20. I'm going to roll a. Sorry, Cliff.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I know I was doing the quotes before, but one quote was just brilliant all the way through. And I remember this as a kid is when he goes, I don't want to lose my arm. I'm rather attached to this.
Yeah.
I just it made me laugh because I remembered watching it as a kid and laughing then. I like that.
But it's so funny when that. Gone pop.
No, I was going to say the one where because Harry gets a lot of shit, doesn't he, off the Doctor? Wow, the best one is when he goes and he's just the Doctor.
Is that the quote? Harry Sullivan is an imbecile.
Yeah, echoing round this cave. I'm like, oh my god, it's a bit harsh, but yeah, it's brilliant. Anyway, D20 time. I'm going to do a D20, then we'll get back into this. So, number 10. Don't forget we're right. Oh, it's me. And it is Trigger Inside by Therapy off an awesome album called Trouble Gun.
Thanks, Mark.
It is.
Suck it.
Yeah, rounding down. That was a round down.
Before we carry on, are we doing when it finished in the poll?
Yeah, I was going to ask that because we missed it out before. Are we going to come back to it now?
After the song, we'll go.
Yeah.
Polar polls. Right, cool. And that was Trigger Inside by Therapy. We rounded down. You're listening to Progtor Who, and we're reviewing the Tom Baker story, Revenge of the Cybermen. But we did ask in our fact file, like we normally do, where it came in the poll of polls, Craig.
I've been talking for so long, I thought it was only fair to let someone else have a go at that point. So it's the usual question, just to remind everyone, mostly Bob.
241.
It's 241. Thank you very much, John. I had to look on my phone to remind me that.
John knows that like proper now.
That's the only thing I know about Doctor Who.
241. Where does it come in the poll of polls? I was nice to him last time because he was new to it, but straight in the deep end. Cliff, where are you thinking of this one?
I don't know because I go for 72.
72. Okay, Suki.
I'm going to go for 100.
100. Bob.
I'm going to go high because it was the first one that came out on video, and so it's like a massive. It was like literally like a holy grail of Doctor Who coming out. So I'm going to go with maybe 48.
Okay. And finally, as customary, John.
Well, I mean, I too have been listening to Bob harp on about the fact that this was the first video, so I reckon it is quite high. So I'm going to go 50.
Okay, I'm just going to come back to clarify because I've got mixed up over who said what. So just between Cliff and Suki.
Oh,
not as high as Bob would have you think. Cliff, Suki, just remind me, one of you said 100.
Yeah, I said 100.
You're closest, Suki, but you are well out even there. Comes in really low. I must admit, I double checked it 1,000 times. 160.
Wow.
I was shocked at that.
I tell you why, because we've done these missing ones and we're always surprised usually how high they are in the polar polls because people haven't seen them. They've read the book, whereas this is the one that pretty much every
probably watched to death. Yeah.
Have seen it. So it's probably hasn't done it as it's opposite of doing it a favour, really.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Well, we were slagging off the Cybermen, rightly so, just before the song break. Craig, I'm going to come to you, my friends. Would you like to furnish us with some more comments than that?
Yeah, I'm going to stay in the slagging off mode. I'm going to stay on the Nerva Beacon. So there we are, all the way through episode 2. We've got Kellner being revealed as kind of like the agent of the Cybermen, and it could just be the way I interpreted it, but it seems that for the last 5 minutes there's this spaceship arriving to Nerva Beacon and nobody seems to have a clue who it is. And then at the very end the Doctor says the Cybermen. Isn't it bloody obvious it's the Cybermen? We've got an agent of the Cybermen there. They're talking about the planet of gold and there's a ship approaching on the scanner. It just seems such a waste of kind of time that they built this into suspense when it was
also it's the name of the fucking episode.
also, in that episode, first episode, the Cybermen only appear once, and that's in the 19th minute. Right, so for an episode, Revenge of the Cybermen, they appear once for a scene with no dialogue, and that's it. And they have to wait another week before the actual Cybermen speak.
We do get the kind of the foreplay of the Cybermen with the Cybermat, don't we? Which is always nice. We kind of get that
piece of armor.
Yeah,
It is
that
the
sounds
worst
like
Cyberman ever. Is it just
Yeah.
me, or is it just it's terrible, isn't it? It's like I don't know, it's crap.
No, it's crap.
When it attacked, I think his name's Warner.
Yeah.
At the start, I got real Ark of Space vibes because of that sort of standing in that situation, in that sort of set,
Yeah.
getting
In the
attacked by
book-
something that's
Yeah.
In the
weird.
book, they're described as these little, red eyes glowing and all this kind of stuff. And the Target book, Terence Dixon written this one again as he did with the Time Warrior, which we previously reviewed before. And what he does, he adds loads of the cutout scenes because obviously he was scripted. He's a big part of Doctor Who, so he put them into the book to make it a bit more, bit fuller, and it was good. But yeah, this is when you read the book, it sounds amazing. But what I was going to say was, did you all watch it or watch the ones with the new effects in?
Yes, I
Watch
did. I watched
both.
the new
I watched
effects.
both.
Both.
Yeah,
Joe, you
I've
watched
got-
both.
Yeah,
I don't know.
what we to do.
I just don't
Did-
know.
You did. I don't. Did you?
Were the special effects crap?
Well, but
'Cause
that's
if
standard
you
for
were-
Doctor Who, so I didn't see
Oh,
the
so you
difference.
watched the original version. I think Brickbox has only got the original versions
The
on.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't
Yeah.
got the updated special effects ones.
The new ones. The new ones.
The
look
new
good.
effects are good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they stand
No,
out.
I
They'll
might
stand out,
have-
John,
I might
massively.
watch the
'cause-
older one. So what?
It's not, it's not the important part.
They show the glowing on the face still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that
Oh, I love that.
That's
Like,
That was a
clever.
great effect.
Yeah,
that was
it's
that
good,
looked
that.
very cleverly done.
That was like the best part. That's good.
yeah, that's something that he used in the previous season, or 2 years previously. Michael E. Bryan, he used that for the Green Death when the
Green
Green
Death,
Death
yeah.
were being infected.
Yeah.
So he's used that again, which is just paint, a reflective paint being put on the skin.
And isn't it
Yeah,
the moon base as well, where they have the plague and all the rest of it? So there's a kind of similarity coming across again with the Cybermen, and this is what's going to happen. And they're using, obviously, it was hiding the sugar or whatever it was last time. But there's so many themes that run through.
It was quite a tense scene when the Doctor had the control of the cybermat with Kelman, and he's got trying to get him to talk. It was it was pretty full on.
It made me think as well, would they actually do something similar to that nowadays? Because they'd like to keep the Doctor away from ever hurting or attacking people. You know what I mean? Like you got Pertwee, who thinks he's Bruce Lee and a load of his stuff. And you wouldn't see that now. They'd like to just keep away from any harm or any torture or anything with people. And it makes me think it's probably after Tom, it sort of dies down with the amount of times the Doctor really goes against or tortures people like that.
Yeah,
Well,
well, Colin
Tom-
Baker kills people. Sucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom,
But how much criticism did he get for that?
Yeah.
Tom's Doctor was the first Doctor that started threatening people in a more out there sort of way. Instead of doing it like behind the scenes or anything, he was actually threatening people because he's used guns. He's tried to kill people.
Yeah.
He's tried to, and this one he's trying to intimidate him by threatening to kill him using the Cyberman. And this is the sort of Doctor he was, right? And so he's quite a not sinister sort of Doctor if he wanted to be, when he could go really over the top.
I find that harkens back more to the Hartnell area. Because you remember the one with the Dalek and William Hartnell was going to kill that person. He was holding a stone. Because to him, he was like, he's dead now, so he might as well destroy him. You wouldn't see that in the later ones. And it was more Tom reflecting off Hartnell coming back.
And that's what Capaldi brought that back as well. He brought back basically Tom Baker, Tom Baker's Doctor, really. But yeah, he is harsh. But that's why Sarah Jane works so well, because she doesn't let him.
Yeah.
And I think that's Liz Sladen playing it brilliantly.
And she brings out the emotion side, like when they've been separated, and it's like, oh, it's good to see you, Doctor. And
that was a great
scene. And I
he
love
really
the fact he
taps her
doesn't
on the
say
arm.
it back.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not a gushing endorsement. It's the kind of, is it? Tap, tap. Off we go. It's that quintessentially British thing that you were talking about before, isn't it? Kind of like, we don't display emotion, stiff upper lip.
Yeah, I really like that scene. All the way through it, I think this season, obviously, because it's the first one with Tom in, I find them chemistry between him and Sarah a lot more of a greater bond between her and Pertwee.
Oh yeah, she didn't. I mean, but she goes in there kind of exploratory, and she's very different, isn't she? So I think they had to kind of keep that bit of I think they kind of try to keep a bit of a distance for the feminist women's lib. She couldn't be the tea girl maybe that Joe Grant was.
Yeah.
Whereas with this Doctor, she gets a whole fresh start, a little bit like maybe not Amy Pond, sorry, what's her name? Clara. I never found Clara gelled that well with Matt Smith. She was always, to me, when Capaldi came on, there was that connection there strong. And that's how I see Sarah Jane
older
here.
influence, yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. John, have you got many more comments there?
I've got a bunch of notes. A lot of them are SJ adjacent, but I'll try and make it clear. The effect of the glowing veins. We've had that. We've had the normal thing of them calling things with the word space in front of it. Space crew and
or cyber.
A space collision is just a fucking collision, mate. The space crew is just a crew.
In space.
Morse code that we're using as well. That guy, the spy fella. I loved the stuff in his room when he was like getting all his spycraft stuff out.
Yeah,
that was in James Bond, by the way.
That's actually James Bond.
Yeah, it's in James Bond, isn't it? That thing there.
Yeah,
the room as well. The bit where he puts the things on the floor because he knows Tom Baker's hiding in there. I used to literally go around my whole house like that.
I did.
Did you as well?
Yeah, yeah. But like everyone used to say, it's you're playing lava floor, and I wasn't. I was like, no, it's Tom.
Honestly, I never ever walked on the ground in my house ever after that scene.
In case he was electrocuted.
Yeah, gets electrocuted.
I like the Cyberman ship. The effects was simple. It looked decent. I was quite happy with it. And the gold that looks like copper and literally is copper. It doesn't look gold like at all. I don't know why that's the thing. The idea of using, is it the Transmat station where the idea of using that to get rid of the poison is fucking cool. But did Star Trek do it first?
Yes, I don't know if they did it first.
I think I've seen it in Star Trek a few times. Yeah.
Well, can I just talk about the underground beacon that they have in Ogan? Because like there it is in the bottom of Wookiee Hole, and it's like really there's nothing. There's no check-in. There's no reception desk. There's no toilet. It's just literally buried away where you kind of. It's not the most. Why would you choose to locate that as your beam arrival point?
You can tell you own a B&B, Craig.
It's true though. You wouldn't. You beam into nothing. It's not even got a light. Imagine if you actually did beam there without anything. You need your phone on straight away. Go on, Suky. Sorry.
I was just going to say that Transmat thing down there. That's another continuity bit as well, because that links in with the Sontaran experiment. Because those are the props that were used on the Moors.
Yeah.
For when they were transmitting there. So that all links in with the Nerva beacon Transmat to foreign locations and stuff.
Next Armageddon Convention. I'd be intrigued to know what that's all about and why it was all about.
What's that? Weapons people.
Yeah. I figured as much. That Vogon is Vogon, is it? When he's watching the rocket through that circular thing.
Yeah.
Just looked like a guy at his bathroom mirror. The scuffle with the two Cybermen was a bit weird, and like the punch up they had with the two Cybermen. And my last comment on this is whenever SJ's on the screen, whenever she's getting interrogated by the Cybermen, she's just so fucking believable.
Yeah,
expressions and everything. That's the thing about her that I really like.
She's definitely submissive.
She's
like
genuine.
It.
No.
All right. Sorry.
That's not. No. I just genuinely. She's like when she acts, she's engaging, and you believe it. Which is really all you need.
She makes a spaceman with flares real.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah, exactly. I think that definitely, John. Clifford.
I think that's.
I thought
is that
Clifford.
So I was just going to say the bit where they're looking at that rocket and they're talking about, this is what we've been building, and probably similar to what Craig was saying before. It's like 1 minute you've been building this huge rocket and no one's known about it. All these other Vogons are just like, when have you been building that? You've been building it last week or something. Well, I did like the fact that he used the stock footage for seeing a rocket explode, go off. Because it's also got a bigger version of it.
You got to remember though, you don't see anybody next to the rocket, so the rocket could be like that big.
Oh yeah.
That could be in perspective.
That wasn't a video. He was looking at the actual rocket.
That was the rocket in a fucking hole. Yeah,
in the hole.
It feels very Genesis the Daleks as well, that doesn't it? We've got a rocket pointing at you, you've got something pointing at us, and it reminded me very much of Genesis.
I want one big on the Cybermen. I actually like the Cybermen when they do a good story. What I didn't like about this was I didn't like the fact they put the weapon in the head. I just thought I enjoy when they pull out the guns and using them or just running.
Put them in the chest as well. The chest.
They have in the chest. They do the
used to light up. Yeah, but I don't like it when they put them on.
Is that 10th Planet?
10th Planet. I can't. Yeah, probably.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
It definitely
might have been invaded.
It might have been invasion. Yeah, you're right. They should have a gun or an arm gun. You know, like Thunderbird. What Thunderbirds are they called? They had arm guns. There we go.
Yeah, I like it. I like it with that. Well, I do like a good Cybermen.
You get that with Moffat, don't they?
It's a shame that for years nothing happened with them. I know, like the new stuff they put them in.
It's my big bugbear. I mean, because the Cybermen are basically like the Borg, and the Borg are brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, someone's copied the Cybermen when they put the Borg. Well, I argue this all the time with people when they're talking about the Borg. I was like, it's the Cybermen. Someone just pulled them from that. It's the same thing.
Wasn't the serial code for the Borg on the first show the same as Doctor Who? They did something, didn't they, when the Borg were introduced? They used a serial code somewhere that matched the Cyber. I'm sure there is. I've read that somewhere.
Suky knows.
I'm sure.
There's probably someone out there, but I'm just thinking that the Avengers might have got there first because they had some creatures which were cybernetic, which were called cybernauts, right? So they might have got there before the Cybermen, but that needs a bit of research.
It doesn't matter who comes first; it's the story that's important.
I still think it's not true, but you know.
But yeah, I mean that's the point. Is that there could have been the Borg are brilliant, and there could have been the Borg, or there were the original Borg, but they were never properly executed for me.
Yeah, because even do the resistances, don't they? And they never use, obviously, resistance is futile.
Exactly.
It's resistance.
Yeah.
Nonsense or whatever. Yeah, I always wanted to say
resistance is nonsense.
Yeah.
It does say in the notes that they have in the subtitles that this is the first time I think they've said excellent in the actual show.
Excellent.
Right.
I love that. Excellent.
So this is the beginning of that.
Awesome. Cliff, have you got much left notes wise?
I have got a couple of things. I know this is a bit of a bad rep. I saw that a few documentaries about this one we was doing about Michael E. Bryant, the director of it, and it seems to be having a clash. Have you seen that documentary? What you get with this one?
Yeah.
There seemed to be that people's like, oh, I don't like the way he did, don't like the way he did this. But I think he did the best of what he could, and the set is one of the best ones. I like that set as it goes round, and you can see the stars from the top and stars from the bottom as as they walk round in that spaceship.
That's down to more Roger Murray Leach with his set design. That was
my only criticism was the music. I thought the music was like comedy. Like it just didn't fit. It wasn't sinister enough. It was like bing, 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 bing. It's all bing, bing.
There's a couple of moments. There's a couple of moments when you expected action music. Because there was a battle going on, and you just got sort of suspense music instead by mistake. Maybe I don't know.
No, it wasn't a mistake. Dudley Simpson normally did the music in Doctor Who this time, and it was awesome. But I can't remember the name of the guy. Sucky will know.
Kerry
Blythe.
Yeah, he made like a daft. Philip Martin hated it because it was, like you're saying, terrible. They had to really strip it back, and they got the Radiophonic Workshop to do this so that there's more synthesizer stuff. Basically, they had to the music was shit. It was all over the place. So they had to try and make it the best they could, and that is the best they could have done with what they had.
Yeah, but that's my only criticism on the music part. I didn't think went well, and I think it would have been a richer story with a better music behind it.
Yeah,
parts of it are good. Parts of it are good.
Yeah,
some of it daft.
I was going to say, I mean, you know me, music ain't my thing, but the parts that are probably, it does say in the the subtitle notes again, right, that Peter Howell from the Radiophonic Workshop, he was asked to add music here, there, and everywhere, and they do highlight it in some of the subtitle notes where has been put in there, this has been put in, and those are the bits which are really the music suits whatever's happening on the screen. Whereas as you said, some of the other stuff, it would have been better with probably Dudley Simpson, right, or somebody who's probably a bit more.
Well, like I say, it was like trying to be different, but I don't know why I went for a comedy styling because we didn't.
It did feel like
much of it, but we didn't. The thing is, they stripped it back massively.
Yeah.
So what we got was a bit of a bastard. So you had synth and. Whatever really. Have you got many comments left there, Cliff?
No. My only thing was
yes.
After what
This has happened before.
No, yes. No, yes.
It's a currently.
No, yeah. But
All
one
right,
thing
Jim.
was I love Harry's character is perfect for the time, and it's a shame you couldn't use Harry nowadays, that stiff upper lip, typical British, because I love the way he turns around to Sarah many occasions, goes, "Sorry, old girl." It's you don't hear that now. And if they can bring in someone like that, I think it would be great.
I don't think it is, because it doesn't represent the common person at all. It didn't represent it back then. But BBC just got themselves in that situation where they would use them all the time.
He was a Navy officer, though. I think that's where they were going.
I think he represented the character he was meant to play. But like John said, the characters they presented in Doctor Who were very of the same ilk very often. Even the women that were meant to be feminist end up being pretty much the same old regurgitated in a different way with a different title.
But you can bring that sort of character back, because as this is a time show, all you have to do is pluck somebody up from the 1920s, right, and bring him travel with a present-day companion, right, and then you can have this sort of conflict of whoever the present-day
which
companion
I think will
is,
give a nice comedy edge to it if they brought someone like that into it. That's what I was just thinking about him. But other than that, it was a joy to watch again for the first time in years. It does remind me of watching it as a kid, but after watching it, I feel, when something just stays there in the cloud in your head and you think, yeah, that's a cracking one to watch. And then when you're watching it, you're like, you know what? It's not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cheers, Cliff. Craig, let's come to you and get any final comments you have in your little notebook there.
Yeah, a couple of things. And we'll stay with Harry, actually, because there's a scene that I love with Harry, and it's kind of the end of part 3, where Harry inadvertently causes the rock fall. Which then land and destroy or kill Kellner, don't they? And no one even bats an eyelid about it. In fact, it's a throwaway line. Oh, Kellner's dead now, and everyone just moves on. There's no kind of try to resuscitate him or bring him back. And then there's also the kind of he's about to take the harness off the Doctor, which is great. And he's just it's that bumbling Harry, and everyone just laughs about it. But I was always quite shocked at how quickly they just move over the death of Kellner and the fact that Harry, even as a human, didn't feel any remorse for the fact that he just killed the bloke.
Bit of a twat, wasn't he? Though, so.
He's a baddie. Fuck him.
But he's meant to be. Wasn't we just saying that he was so lovely and gentle, and now he's like the badass Harry?
But that's down to it's down to the production, that is, because Jamie Wilkin was only contracted for 3 episodes, so that's why you got him killed at the end of the 3rd episode, and instead of having that little extra scene which was the previous end of they didn't show him in the 4th episode, so they didn't have to credit him or pay for it.
I did feel for Tom Baker in that situation with the rockfall, because I'm sure some rocks landed on his knackers.
Oh, you could actually hear the polystyrene, but I mean that was obviously budget. It just made me smile rather than taking away the glory of the show. But it was funny.
There'll be massive rocks in him, are there, for real? Although he did break his shoulder apparently before any of this.
That was the Taran experiment.
Taran experiment, isn't it?
Yeah, because what's he called? Terry, that stuntman. What's he called? Terry
Walsh.
Terry
Walsh. Yeah, Terry Walsh. Yeah.
Terry that saved Sarah Jane.
Yeah. It's when Tom Baker tells that story, right? It sounds proper sinister, because he said like, oh yes, and Terry always watched Elizabeth, always watched Liz. Like this stuff. He loved her. He loved it. Like John, always watched Liz. He loved her.
Don't turn this beautiful thing into something weird.
It's like that film Love Actually. Whenever John's actually watching the Doctor, he's just got the half a screen on that's got Sarah Jane on it. Everyone else is out the shot. Sorry.
Craig, is that you? Got any more notes?
Just one little more thing, which is that the set. I don't know if you noticed at the end when everything's going wrong and they're about to crash into the planet or whichever big dramatic ending is, the biggest bang in the universe. They go to the secondary system, which is just one big crank shaft.
Yeah, it's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So silly.
I thought
love
that was great.
Yeah, they always have a backup crankshaft in Doctor Who, don't they?
It's just excellent. I loved it. It really made me, and the Doctor knew exactly where it was, and the crank was just out easily to hold as well.
Talking
An
of backup
emergency
crankshafts,
crank.
Yeah.
talking of backup
And it's not-
crankshaft, Suky. Sorry, you've got
Yeah.
a final base there, Craig.
No, it's fine. It was only a small one, but I'm happy to pass over.
No,
to Suki's,
I want to hear it. I want to hear
Well,
it.
it's the head of the militia. I don't know if you noticed, is that scene when he? Oh God, I can't see the notes on it, but my memory was. Oh, it's there. He's attacking the Cybermen. It's all good. Part 4. It's all going wrong, and literally out of nowhere, he just puts his hand down and out of his skirt pulls out a grab of gold and rubs it on his chest. It's like, do they walk around instead of like a ball sack? Have they got a glitter sack or something like that? It's like, what is down there?
But the thing, there's a scene a bit later on where Tom Baker says, "I need to go up to the beacon, right? But I need a bag of gold dust." And what happens? Tyrone just suddenly pulls out a bag of gold dust and gives it.
That's the scene. Then that'll be the scene.
Yeah. Right, they just what? I was thinking they must be carrying whatever the dirt is on the floor because gold is all over the place. It's their equivalent to dirt.
Male padding at an early stage.
Or off screen, the Doctor told him of his plan and asked him to get a bag of gold for that situation. Come on, lads.
That scene, I would have just Doctor should have just gone, I need a bag of gold, and Tyrone should have just said, just get him a bag of gold as he's walking out to one of his minions, not pull out one out of his own pocket.
I mean, at least want to sniff it first, wouldn't he?
When we're talking about the gold thing, actually, I mean, this is the first time the gold thing is brought into the Cybermen, Cybermen canon. What do you think of the fact that they get killed by gold?
I don't like it. I don't like it. And I thought it was a little bit.
It doesn't make any fucking sense chemically.
I mean, it clogs up the system, doesn't it? Is what they say. But it's a very soft metal, isn't it? So it's just gonna.
But sure.
And also, it reacts with nothing. That's the whole point of gold. Is it's like.
And surely the Vogons would have known about the gold, about the Cybermen. So why was they shooting the Cybermen and getting shot to pieces? The Vogons.
Why don't they put gold on?
And why were the Cybermen even going down to the planet? Because they're going to avoid it. Like, surely there's gold particles in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
I think those two Cybermen were on a suicide mission because they were told to make sure that they were taken down.
They kept dying all the time. It's the same guy.
Over and over and over and over again.
So I did quite like it. Sorry, go on, Bob.
Final thoughts, please, Suky. Have you got? Sorry, Craig. Have you got another thing to say?
It was literally just. I must admit, I do quite like the Cybermen's kind of death by gold, but it just reminds me of the excitement of Adric in Earthshot, where he manages to, he's got his gold badge. That's all it was. That's a little connection there. Suky, I'm done. I'm finished.
Can we move on now, Craig? Finished. Can we move on?
Okay,
move on.
You're all empty.
Suky.
Emptied.
Right. I've never noticed it before until I actually started reading the notes when I was watching the subtitle notes. But there's dummies all over the floor when they walk onto the space station. Right.
There's dummies in this fucking podcast, Suky.
Well, I didn't want to mention it, John. All right. They'll only gang up on me later. But, no, but if you walk, as the Doctor, Sarah, and Harry walk onto the space station, all them bodies on the floor, right, were just plastic dummies.
I didn't realise, to be fair, when I watched it.
I didn't know that. No, I
did not know that.
You'd have to be a right tight-ass bastard to point that out, and nobody knew.
But the only one that wasn't was Pat Gorman, because there's a close-up they needed a close-up of an extra. So they got Pat Gorman, the famous extra, to lie on the floor, and they had a close-up on you. But every other single one is a dummy. And every time now, when I had to re-watch it again, every time I see it, I just can't get over the fact.
Now you've ruined it for all us. You
were never going to watch this again, and I know that. Right? You was going on about Michael Wisher having so many roles as Davros and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he actually has 3 roles in this story.
3?
Which is like Magric, the Tannoy, the person who was on the Tannoy talking to Walker at the beginning.
Yeah.
And he was also the Vogan announcer as well. Which was communicating up to the Nerva Beacon. So he was quite a busy man on this production. In fact, he was quite a busy man for the whole season, since he had about 2 or 3 different parts.
He's the whole season, dude.
The fact that you've got tape recordings to keep your conversations on. right? Which is a bit, this is set so far in the future, and they're not using some sort of other sort of device, but it is tape recordings. So that was another
Some
thing.
people are never fucking happy with Doctor Who, are they?
Oh no, it's just
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not.
But look at vinyl. It's come back again. Maybe
Yeah.
Exactly.
that is
It's all
true.
cyclical.
Yeah, maybe it comes back. It's a retro ship.
I did like the boats that they had, the little single seater boats that they had. Even though from what I've been reading up on the production, they just did not work and they had issues with them. And at least one of them went over an edge somewhere and was never seen again. So, but they were like a nice little cute. Little
I like
thing
that.
they had.
I like when Sarah straddles one, doesn't she? It's good.
That's
Oh,
that's the
God.
scene where she nearly dies.
Yeah, is it? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All to give you that pleasure, Cliff.
It was worth it if she goes through the pain.
Yeah. This is the first.
This is getting slightly misogynistic. Is that the word? I think we need to move.
That is, it's becoming Top Gear in space.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
Suky.
This is the first appearance of the Prydonian seal, which is
It
the
is.
Gallifreyan symbol that we've got come to know and love over the years. But this actually appears in this story, and it's there on the wall. It's there on the table.
Yes.
It's this is and it does appear, I think, in a Blake 7 episode as well. I like the fact that Kelman, when he comes to search the Doctor's pack, it's on Craig's arms as well. When it comes to search the Doctor's pockets.
Yeah.
All right.
Good man.
I'm not getting it. When it comes to Kelman searching,
Dick.
I knew it
On
was
me
gonna
butt
go.
cheek.
Sorry, Suky. It's quite important.
when Kelman searches the Doctor's
Wouldn't it be
pockets,
awful if Suki got interrupted just one more time? Wouldn't it be awful? Anyway, sorry, carry on, Suki.
have we all finished?
Suki.
Sorry.
We all
sorry.
sitting nice and quietly. This ain't going to be that flipping. Oh well, I'll carry on anyway. When he's searching, Kelman is searching the Doctor's pockets, and he pulls out the jelly babies and a used apple core.
Yeah,
Right?
brilliant.
Yeah, he's
A
supposed to carry
used
on. There was-
apple core.
Well, okay, an apple core, I should say.
All right.
An apple core.
An eaten apple car.
There should have been
Is that
a
big?
yo-yo and some other things. It
An
should
eaten
have
apple.
an eaten apple.
Yeah.
I like the fact that's the line. Harry Sullivan is an imbecile, which is quoted by loads of fans over the years now, which is great. The ticket. There's a missing episode between this story and Terror of the Zygons, right? Which I did tell John about last night when we were watching that terrible Liverpool game. But
Another one.
yeah.
Sorry, I am.
But at the end of this story, the Doctor says, "I've been called back, space-time telegraph, right, by the Brigadier," and he goes away. But between that story and Terror of the Zygons, Tom Baker appeared in an episode of Disney Time, which is like a clip show for Disney films and stuff. And at the end of that episode, he says the same thing: "I've been called away by the Brigadier to get back to work. So bye, people, and all this stuff." So that if you want people who like everything within the Doctor Who universe to be canon, Disney Time is canon.
No way.
Oh my god.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Mind blowing. Is that the tank empty, Suki?
That
Right.
is.
Have you combed out the wizard beard? Is it fully?
No, that's it. That's it. I'm just to satisfy John. That is
Right.
it.
Hey, lads, don't move. You know, you were saying about that ghost before, Craig. In
Which,
here. Yeah, that ghost. There's a ghost over there. It's the ghost of Keith Chegwin, right? He's just appeared. I'm not even joking. Right, so when I say run, we run. Okay. You right there, Keith?
Can we
Chegwin?
just shout? Can we just shout Maggie Philbin and run? Would that not help?
who's Maggie Philbin, John?
Doesn't matter.
Keith, are you all right? Do you know who Maggie Philbin is?
His
Run!
wife, yeah.
Come on, lads. Let's get with him. He's catching us. Run faster. Run faster. If we make it back, we'll be able to put some tingling titties out of Keith on this story. Come on. And then stuff going there. And that.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, door shuts and then. Right, okay. Lads, that was a lucky escape. Whoa. So let's put some tingling titties out of Keith on this. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Right.
I'm just going to go max out of 10, I think.
Tingling titties.
Tingling titties. Okay. Right, now we've got that little excitement. Let's put some tingling titties out of Keith on this. Marks out of 10 for people who don't know what I'm saying right now. Craig, I'm going to come to you first.
Oh, that's cool.
How much tingling titties out of Keith you going to put on this?
I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, 7.5 tingling titties. Can you get half?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
It's a bit of a big one. One's bigger than the other. Yeah. Well, maybe maybe it's got a third nipple, so a half could be a third nipple.
Like
What's happened?
Scarab
Marky
Magnet.
Mark had one.
A third
Marky
nipple?
Mark. Who's Marky Mark?
Yeah.
Is he a stripper?
Marky Mark and the Mark Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
Is he
Where he
got
started off,
nipples?
Marky Mark and the funk. Yeah, he did have.
Wahlberg.
Whether he's had it removed, I don't know. I looked
Good
at his chest
actor.
many times.
I bet you have. He's a good actor. Suky, give us your tingling titties out of Keith,
Well,
please.
I was going to give it 6 out of 10, but I'm going to give it an extra mark 7. Because I forgot all about Lester's sacrifice when he jumps onto the Cybermen and just blows himself up, and I thought that was a noble way to die and save everybody.
Novel,
I did like that.
in the book they describe it as like he looks in the towards the doctor's eyes and they have this moment of whatever it is. It's well described,
Bonding.
but yeah.
Yes. So it's 7 out of 10.
7. Cliff, give us your tingling titties out, Keith, please.
Mine would be 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, Scar.
It's struggling, isn't it? This is.
Yeah.
See, I was going to go 8.5, and I've knocked myself down to 7 or 7.5.
Mine was 7, but I knocked myself down.
It's knock yourself down half.
Yeah.
John, can I have your tingling titties out, Keith, please?
I'm going to go a good solid 8. It was better than what I was saying.
Lads.
Yeah, nice to have some
Wow.
positivity.
So 7 from Suky, 7.5 from Craig, 6.5 from Cliff, a solid 8 from John. Well, I'm going to join John on an 8. Tingling titties out, Keith. It's just, I mean, with my heart, I'd give it 10 just because of all what it means to me.
Yeah.
And it was the only Doctor Who we had. But it is a good story. Annoyingly for me, the Cybermen are not portrayed very well, but the rest of it, I can forgive a lot of it. I think it's a good thing. Anyway, it's time for another song. So I'm going to get out the disc D20 here, and we're going to roll for a song. We're rounding down. Remember, we're rounding down. Oh, we've got a 14. It's me again. I apologize.
Hey!
It is a 14. And I've picked number 14. It's Cream with White Room.
Oh, great tune.
So that's that.
Right, can we have a quick lavatory break, lads?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah. Quick lav break. We're still recording. YouTubers. We're still here.
I'm going to move the table. We know what that means for the
Don't
microphone.
touch anything, Craig.
I'm not. This is a scary moment. Okay, right. I could have just peed here, but it might stain the floor.
You could. Are you all right, Cliff? Do you need to go and
No, I'm all right, boss. I'm okay.
Good man. Are you all right anyway for YouTubers?
Yay! This is the YouTubers. This is everyone's having a piss, but me and Bob has got the better bladder. Yeah.
I've even not been drinking. I've had a cup of tea. That's all I've had, Cliff, tonight.
Yeah, I've just had water. I've not had out yet. I've not even had my tea yet.
Have you not? Oh,
No.
I did have my tea. I've got to have my tea, Cliff. What you got for your tea?
Don't know yet. I've got to go out and get it.
You get a takeaway?
Yeah, I'll nip out. I think the chip is open near me because it's been closed for like 2 months because of all this lockdown shenazzle. They closed as well, so I might go out and get a chippy, but don't know yet. I was, like I said, like watching this. I really think I had it on a higher pedestal, because you were watching it as a kid again and again and again. And literally, like you, it was at my local video shop, and then I must have been the only one renting it. And I think my dad just got bored. And as soon as he started appearing on BBC Two, he gave me a tape and Ken a tape, and we could record our own shit on it. And mine was just full of Doctor Who.
Yeah, Mum.
I just remember
they were dear, weren't they? Tapes, but it's all very expensive.
Yeah, I remember having a 4-hour one, and some of the later models of the VHSs, you could double the time.
Yeah, double play. Long play, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just used to put loads of it. It used to be mine, Doctor Who, Laurel and Hardy, and Buster Keaton, all on the same tape, and it would be Doctor Who. And then afterward, you get Laurel and Hardy, and then it'd be Doctor Who again.
I must admit, like I used to. It wasn't the 5 Faces of Doctor Who, but it was. I don't know what they called it. The repeat
Monsters.
Was it Time? Well, it was Time Meddler, Mind Robber, and the Sea Devils, because I recorded them. And you remember the sort of library video cases that you made them look like books?
Yeah.
That's what I used to put them in, and I used to take the little tab out so no fucker recorded over them because I'd go theme in then. So yeah, that's another 3 that I'd watched the fuck out of. And I remember copying Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy off my cousin, who recorded it off telly, and it was a 3-hour video I had, and it missed literally the last 5 minutes. You know, where they put the pieces.
Oh
on the
no!
board. So I'd never seen that. I'd never seen that till I bought a video or whatever. Years later.
I was managing a quick save back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, right? And I was recording stuff off the telly, but I wanted copies for somebody else. And the only way I could do it was to borrow somebody's VHS player.
Yeah.
All right. So there was a stock lad that I had who was laziest person I know, but I knew he had a VHS player, so I had to keep him happy to get his VHS player off him.
There you go, dodgy
reality. I was just nightmare he was.
Well, I used to take mine to my cousins, and he used to like all the stuff he had on telly, like 5 Doctors. That was when I got off my cousin.
Oh
and
yeah.
You used to have to set them going. And that was it, wasn't it? Like when you were recording your cassettes as well, recording a cassette onto a cassette, like it was real time, wasn't it? So you had to fuck off and like get done and all that. It were hard in our day. They
don't have it. Oh, they don't know.
There was a documentary on the thing. That guy, he paid £350.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
On Fano on colour version. Because it was from Australia or something, wasn't it? He said.
Yeah, they did it from Australia. They found a load in Australia, haven't they? Because they had it on cycle constantly.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah, so they swapped for new ones with people in the UK, apparently at the time. It was a right money racket, from what I could gather.
It is, but I do get that bit where the lady says, there's something about searching for something and finally finding it, and you don't get that now because literally everything is there when you want, however much you want to buy. But I remember years ago trying to collect Doctor Who, and like none of your mates enjoyed it. So it's like you know, like it'd be my dad's mate. It'd be like my dad would say, "Oh, this lad at work, he likes Doctor Who like you, so I'll put you in contact with him." And they'll come round to my mum and dad's house and they give me a tape and stuff like that, and it'd be like, "Yeah, you can borrow this if you want," and all that. And it's like that's what he had to do. You had to trade between people you didn't know.
But this is the good thing that I had when I was in the 90s after the show had finished, was that we did have a Doctor Who group within Wolverhampton, right? There was loads of like-minded people who wanted to watch Doctor Who, and they were willing to swap tapes between. So I was able to get a lot of stuff through this group, right? Until they started releasing the VHS, obviously, and the DVDs. And then, you know, we were sort of bang up to date with whatever was available in them days.
It's Rock On Tommy. So listeners' feedback up next.
Bob, what documentary were you talking about, by the way? Because the one I watched didn't really have Tom. That's what I came in and went to watch it.
Oh, right. So on the bonus,
it's on the disc, 6 disc.
On disc 6.
I went to Revenge of the Cybermen. Right. Okay.
Right, yeah, it's the best Tom Baker interview I've ever seen. He's very honest and very emotional. Like, you know, it's really good. Right. So. Feedback.
Did you watch the Behind the Sofa for this episode as well?
Yeah. I'm not
right,
really
and then you had like Sadie Miller.
I don't really watch many of the extras, to be honest.
Who's that? Okay.
I do like them, but
you had Tom, Sadie Miller, and Philip Hinchcliffe sitting on the sofa, and then Tom was telling her the story of how Teddy Wolf saved her mother's life. Yeah. Right, and she's just sitting there, sort of blank faced, like she's probably heard of this so many times before. It's just a strange experience watching her. Listening to Tom. Yeah.
Come on, let's do this.
Right, I'm ready.
Okay, so listeners' feedback, gentlemen. Okay. That was White Room by Cream. My choice. I've had 2 tonight. Greedy guts. You're listening to Progtor Who. We've just been reviewing Revenge of the Cybermen. You found out what we think, but it's time to find out what you think in listeners' feedback. I kick off with Mark Atkinson. You may have heard of him before. Mark says, with this being the very first VHS release back in the mid-80s, Revenge of the Cybermen must rank as one of the stories of classic Who I've watched the most. I've literally lost count of how many times I've seen it. Dozens and dozens of times, probably. And with with having just rewatched it recently as part of my viewing of the season 12 Blu-ray release, this is the first time I've not rewatched a story ahead of your podcast review in the series of the serial in question. I didn't need to rewatch it again. It's etched in my mind. It's a decent story showing Tom Baker at the height of his powers in the role with excellent companions. The Cybermen are okay, even with the slightly strange voices, and supporting cast strong. The locations are also they're great also, and the Planet of Gold memorable. It's not an all-time classic story, however, and it pales into comparison with stories like the Ark in Space and Genesis around it. But in my mind, it's worth a solid 7.5 out of 10 from me. Rock on, dudes. Thanks, Mark. Suky.
We've got Doctor Who can convince you podcast, and they put, love this story. It doesn't live up to the book, but it still holds a special place for me. One of my favourite cyber designs, bar the voice, and a fabulous TARDIS team makeup for its shortcomings. Thank you very much for that.
Lovely. John.
Jason Spencer says, always loved it. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much, Sean. Sweet. Cliff.
Mark Cockram says, we got our first VHS recorder in 1985, and I was given the Revenge of Cybermen tape for my birthday. Lucky get. It has remained a firm favourite story for me. Pickford Kelman is deliciously nasty as the turncoat cyber operative. A great piece of acting from Rich Larson. Rick Allison. Oh, yeah. All right.
You're getting what he's putting down here, Cliff. Go on.
Okay, I know. I'm not the biggest fan of Carey Blyton's music, neither was I, on the whole, but the score for this is memorable. Has he got another bit?
Yeah, carry on.
All right. Probably because I Calvert Lewin. Yeah.
So please got Cliff to do this.
I'm missing.
He has no idea what's going on.
Played the videotape to death. The guest cast has some of the finest recurring actors in the entire run of the classic series, from Kevin Stoney and Michael Wisher to David Collins and James Rodriguez. It's such a shame that we didn't get that many stories with this TARDIS team, because they're just so good together. The Cybermen in this one are as camp as Christmas, with lots of hands on hips acting. All in all, Coleman season 12 is one of the best Godfrey in the entire run of the show, and I would unhesitatingly award this 9 Keens out of 10. What the hell's that? Dukas.
10 Degores. Don't worry about that last sentence. Don't worry about that last sentence. Don't worry about
the toffees. Okay.
Thanks, Mark, and we really like you, Mark. But I'm really glad Cliff got that one, so he could butcher the fuck out of that one.
Chunk of that went right over my head. It was like, what's he on about?
There's definitely a subliminal message in that, I think. Craig,
not very
over to you.
Oh, I didn't get it. J.R. Southall, I was quite shocked when I discovered organised fandom and found how little was thought of this story. As a child, I thought it was a brilliant piece of television, even as an adult. I love the way it reflects the grey areas of 1970s politics and that middle cliffhanger. Oh, cheers, thank you very much.
JR, I've got Dwayne Bunny. You'll be hearing Dwayne on Progtor Who in some of the Time Lord Victoria stuff we're doing. Him and Phil from Sounds of Audio will be doing short 10-minute reviews for the audio stuff, which will be appearing in our bonus episodes. Wasn't the team of the Fourth Doctor, Harry and Sarah, simply amazing? It has the best of the guest cast all in masks. Kevin Stoney, David Collins, and the music might not be for everyone. Looking forward to the big finished version of Return of the Cybermen later this month. That is very true. Sucky.
Yeah, it's me. Paul Faber, and he's put the seal of Rassilon symbolizes the gold planet Volga, Jupiter's new moon, which gleeful Cybermen plot to use gorgeous space beacon Nerva to destroy in cyber co-creator Jerry Davis's old school well-cast story. Sharp-eyed fans may spot callbacks to each previous Cyberman tale. Cheers, Paul.
And finally, we have the 51st Doctor. I've seen this story probably more than any other Who story.
Yeah.
Due to its release as the first VHS video, it's maybe no classic, but it's still very enjoyable. The TARDIS team are wonderful, and Tom Baker is fantastic as the Doctor. The Cybermen are cool. 7 out of 10. Cheers.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for writing into us. Always appreciated. It's time to vote for this month's Benny.
Benny!
Okay, Benny time. So we're going to vote for who we think has been the best host on this month's podcast. Suky, I'm going to come to you to cast the first vote for your Benny, and why?
I'm voting for John purely for his love for Sarah Jane. The way he just gushes all over.
Gushes.
Gushes all over his microphone. All right, about this unhealthy obsession of his. But yes, put John.
Thank you, Suky.
No worries, mate.
John for his love gush. Craig, who's your Benny?
Well, I'm going to nominate you, Bob, because it's been an absolute pleasure to sit and see you in your Doctor Who t-shirt. Bob, for the non-YouTubers, is currently wearing a Jodie t-shirt and some braces, and he looks cool. And that with the Wookiee Hill backdrop. Sorry, Cliff, I know you've got a new shirt on. But Bob, I just, it's been fantastic. It's like watching a mirror image of myself, but without hair and a beard and ginger. So that's why
I'm in better shape than you, Craig. Do you know what I mean?
Of course you are, with more tats. So yeah, it's as shallow as it can be, but I love the t-shirt and brace t-shirt. Get my Benny.
I must admit, I've done the season 11 rewatch, the last one to watch, and I've seen it in a different light. It's just brilliant. Jodie is brilliant. I'm definitely confident, and I'll miss her when she's gone, as they say. Cliff.
My Benny goes to John. And the reason for is the lucky gets to see this for the first time, and I think I've just watched it to death. I think I would have enjoyed it as a first showing, and I'm glad that he has as well. So it goes to John.
Awesome, John.
My pick is going to be you, Bob. For you, obviously love this one a lot, and it's shone through. You've got little tales about it, and this one's for you. You can be a Benny for me.
So me and you have 2 Bennies each. I'm going to give you my Benny, John.
Right.
You've been the best host this time. Good man. Just for being
almost like this has been manufactured to be that way. I don't know what's going on.
It really hasn't.
What's your reason? What's your reason?
Just because he's John and I love him. All right, Suky, I love you too. I'm not. It's not like you're my.
What about me?
Second best
Are you
friend. I love you all. I love you all. I've got to vote for someone. Anyway, it's time to find out what we're watching next month and engage the randomizer.
Excitement. I love this bit.
Suky, are you doing the randomizer?
No, I thought you was going to do the randomizer.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Who's doing the randomizer?
Oh, no, I'll just get it up. One sec.
Awesome. Nice one, Cliff. I just thought it was going to be you, Cliff, doing randomizers.
Yeah, I've always, but Suky sent me a message. I thought he was going to do it then.
No, the message. I don't know if you all saw it. Right, the message was that all the classic shows are all on there, but the new Who shows wasn't on there. Right, so that's why I said, look, this you should be doing it like that. So I sent a little tab with all the stories on, which we haven't done.
Oh, you say when you're ready, Cliff.
Yeah, because there's some Chris Eccleston.
Well, this Progtor Who is a long-running podcast about Doctor Who that is professionally done. Yeah. And when it comes to time for somebody to do a segment like pick the next one, it's there. You've already prepared it. It's ready to go. Come on.
Quick fire.
Right. I'm ready.
Right, cool. Okay, we'll get into the randomizer section. Okay. I'm going to come over to Cliff, the man with the balls. Let's get him rolling. Let's randomize and find out what we're watching next month. They're rolling, Cliff. Come on.
They're rolling. I've got
it's like a bingo hall.
49. The Space Pirates.
Space Pirates? Wow.
It's a missing story.
A missing
story. It's an old one. A missing one.
Yeah, it's a missing story. So it's going to be an audio.
Good job.
There'll be the telly snaps. There'll be the book. It's all there. Oh, God. Do you know what?
Oh, there'll be loads of YouTube on it.
I'm really chuffed.
What, Doctor?
Pat Troughton.
Oh, yeah, that's Patrick Troughton.
Do you know
I don't think there's many telly snaps for that Space Pirates, you know.
We'll find something.
It's a 6-parter as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
He's
fuck
there.
it is.
It's, do you know what though? It genuinely is one that I've never really.
Can my
I've
my
heard of it.
prize for being the Benny be an optional re-roll?
Do you want a reroll?
Yes.
No.
No,
No.
Space
All right,
Pirates.
no,
No.
that's fine. I'll stick to the rules. It's fine.
We can't. We did this last time when we did the randomizer, and it just.
Yeah.
So
It did.
we are
Yeah, you're-
sticking with.
you're right, Bob.
So Space Pirates next month. But in between that, we'll be dropping another review from our continuation of the Time Lord Victorious saga, which will be the comic Defender of the Daleks. But until next time, it's goodbye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Benny!